Welcome to Josh's Football Breakdowns, where we don't tell you what you're seeing, we let the film tell us what we're seeing. And what we saw on Monday Night Football in front of everybody was the San Francisco 49ers crushing the defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams. And the Rams started this game off with a good drive, moving slowly and steadily down the field. But penalties are drive killers, and watch the left tackle here. He moves early. It's a false start, and this would be the beginning of a long night for LA. So the Rams proceed with a cheeky little plan to try to get some of that penalty yardage back. They start off by having the right tackle, Joseph Noteboom, blocked down to the inside. And at first glance, it looks as if they're going to have the tight end, Kendall Blanton, block Samson Ebukam. In reality, Blanton is going to go out for a pass, and the Rams are going to use Ben Skoranek to block Ebukam. But the speed of Samson Ebukam makes this impossible. Ebukam was helped by the fact that Skoranek and Blanton actually collided with each other. And let's take a look at what the rest of the LA offensive line is doing. They're all moving to their left. Their hope is to get the San Francisco defense moving in that direction, which they definitely do. This will really help them to sell that run fake. But the 49ers' terrific rookie Drake Jackson is all over it. He's not fooled at all and immediately shoots that gap. Stafford has nowhere to go, and he goes down for the sack. What was a promising drive for LA is smothered by their own mistakes and the San Francisco defense, and they're forced to settle for a field goal, making the score LA 3, San Francisco nothing. On the Niners' first possession, we can see that they put a man in motion, and no one from LA goes with them. So it must be zone, right? Well, at the last possible second, we see that somebody does go with them, and the Rams are going to play zone on one side of the field and man on the other. LA would try to fool Jimmy Garoppolo multiple times throughout this game. They're hoping that Garoppolo will think this is zone and not recognize Brandon Ayuk as the open receiver. And they're hoping he'll throw it to the wrong man underneath. But Jimmy Garoppolo is all over it. He's not fooled for 1 second, and he gets Brandon Ayuk the football. You may have noticed that the Rams also sent a blitz on this play, and the purpose of this is to give Aaron Donald a one-on-one opportunity. But here, Aaron Banks does an outstanding job of keeping him at bay. And the pass is right on the money. The 49ers will have to know where number 99 is on every play. And with Mike McGlinchey tasked with blocking the defensive end, it will be up to the rookie, Spencer Burford, to block Aaron Donald one-on-one. But here Burford makes a terrible mistake and helps the center, turning loose one of the most dangerous pass rushers in the game. Garoppolo is dead to rights, and here I would have been okay if he would have taken the sack and protected that football. The one thing he can't do, which we saw him do last week in Denver, is try to force it, try to make something happen and throw that ball into the crowd. But here he does a good job of just throwing this ball into the dirt, throwing the ball away, and moving on to the next play. One more thing I want to make sure I mention before we move on. Last week, Spencer Burford had a pretty tough game. He is, after all, only a rookie, and he makes a big mistake here. But we're going to keep an eye on this for the rest of the game because he actually played pretty good. And the coaches had his back, rotating him in and out of the game with Daniel Brunskill, who he said was a big help to him this week during the meetings. Alright, I stopped it here because this is a key third down, and I really like the defense of Taylor Rapp on this play. He gets enough depth to take away the route of Deebo Samuel, but he also keeps a close eye on George Kittle. But check out Juwan Jennings at the bottom. Gives the defender a move to the outside, and when the defender bites on the fake, Jennings cuts back into this very small window, makes the catch, and then falls forward for the first down. Outstanding. And once again, it's an accurate throw from Garoppolo. Now the Rams would run a no-huddle offense for most of the first half. They knew they had to do something to put pressure on that outstanding San Francisco defense. But here, we see the Rams defense is in a little bit of disarray. They're not ready yet. Because now it's the 49ers' turn to run the no-huddle. And I want you to watch the center walk up and then immediately snap the football to Jimmy Garoppolo. And that puts LA in a tough position because you can see Jalen Ramsey has turned around to communicate with the other defender, and here Ramsey gets burned by Deebo Samuel. Ramsey chases him, Kendrick backpedals to make sure he doesn't give up a big play, and Juwan Jennings takes the space the defense left behind. Where's Aaron Donald? This time the 49ers have the luxury of triple teaming him. And check out Jimmy Garoppolo, utilizing the pump fake to hold Bobby Wagner in the middle of the field to make sure he has room to get this ball to Jennings. At the start of this next play, we see Jimmy Garoppolo with his hands on his head. He's giving a signal to the rest of the team. He's changing the play, calling an audible. Let's take a look at what he does. First, he moves his foot, bringing the tight end George Kittle in motion. And at the snap of the football, Bobby Wagner reacts very strongly to that side of the field. It looks like this is a toss to Jeff Wilson Jr. on the outside. But the 49ers bring Charlie Warner to the inside on a wham block. Wagner still heading aggressively in that direction, and what really makes this play work is Spencer Burford, who effortlessly gets off his block and then comes over to maul Bobby Wagner, opening up a lane for Jeff Wilson Jr. Wilson Jr. outruns Jalen Ramsey to the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the 49ers. What a play call by Jimmy Garoppolo. And take a look at this blocking. Robbie Gould knocks through the extra point, making the score 7-3. The Rams' next possession gets off to a rough start after Stafford goes down in the arms of Nick Bosa. Let's go back to the snap. Just like the Rams did with Aaron Donald, the 49ers send Fred Warner on a blitz for the same reason, to create a one-on-one opportunity for Nick Bosa. And it looks like man-on-man blocking on that side of the line. Nick Bosa takes a step in that direction, forcing the running back to help with pass protection on that side, before Bosa loops back around for a clean shot at Matt Stafford. Now I'll say I don't know for sure that the running back was tasked with pass protection here. It looked like he was going out for a pass route. He definitely would have tried to chip Bosa on the way out. But the net result is the same. There's no one left to take care of Nick Bosa, and if you give an athlete like that kind of free reign, he's going to make you pay every time. On the 49ers' next possession, it's the Rams who send a blitz. And also notice how the play-action fake to Jeff Wilson Jr. draws in the linebackers, allowing Deebo Samuel to run right behind them. And Garoppolo fits that ball right into the second window there. Okay, we're already in the second quarter, and the 49ers still have the football. And the Rams defense is giving Brandon Ayuk a lot of space. But it looks like their pass rush is out of control. That's because the 49ers have sent their entire offensive line upfield to block. They know that Garoppolo is going to get this ball out quickly to Ayuk. And remember this play, because the 49ers would run it again later in the game. The Rams defense actually did well to limit the damage on this play. Facing another third down, the 49ers once again get the ball into the hands of Jauan Jennings. Is he going to get the first? It's going to be close either way, but here we see an uncharacteristic drop by Jauan Jennings. I think if he had made the catch, the 49ers probably would have gone for it on fourth down. The teams would trade punts, but Garoppolo and the 49er offense has been playing well so far. Let's take a look at a few plays where they weren't quite in sync. With the defense shading to the inside, Charlie Warner has the chance at a big play here. And I kind of like this throw by Garoppolo, throwing the ball away from the defense. But it's a really tough adjustment for Warner, and he's unable to make the catch. What do you need to throw the ball deep? Time. And take a look at that Rams defensive line. You'll notice that Aaron Donald is not in the game on this play. And I think it's no coincidence that Shanahan waited until that moment to call a deep shot. The Rams have had about enough of that, and Aaron Donald immediately comes back into the game. And LA also sends a blitz on this play. Garoppolo just has to find the one-on-one receiver, and it's Jauan Jennings, who's heading to the outside. With no safety help on that side of the field, the defender has to respect that. Jennings cuts back to the inside, and this time there's no doubt about it. Garoppolo overthrew him. I would like to think that as he practices more, Jimmy will hit that throw more consistently. Although, let's be honest, these are the exact kind of throws that have sort of plagued him throughout his career. But let's see how the rest of this game unfolds, because LA would get the ball back. The Rams are on the move, and they've created some space with the linebackers by faking the run. And they have Cooper Kupp one-on-one against Emmanuel Moseley, who covers him well, but I want you to notice something very important here. Emmanuel Moseley is facing to the inside of the field, and that's what allows Stafford to get this ball to the outside to Kupp. And this is going to come up again later in the game. What a pass. Just like the 49ers, the Rams need time to get this ball way out to Kupp like that. And they have to account for number 97 on every play. Here, LA double teams Nick Bosa. Now at times, LA was able to move the ball like this, but make no mistake about it, the 49er defense was on fire in this game. And what I've just shown you was the Rams' longest play of the game, 18 yards. That's right, the LA Rams did not have a single play of 20 yards or more for the entire game. And the drive would stall again, and they would be forced to settle for another field goal, making the score 49ers 7, Rams 6. Once again, Garoppolo has excellent pass protection, and it looks like he might have the post. But the line to gain is only the 35, and Garoppolo decides he can pick it up with his legs. He probably felt that it was the higher percentage play, and I'm okay with that decision. Right here, he knows he's going to run it, but he looks off Bobby Wagner first to make sure he can pick it up. On this play, the 49ers send Jauan Jennings deep, and Deebo Samuel cuts right behind him, kind of like a pick play. But the timing of the play is a little bit off, and the defender reads it well. But if you're going to dive for the interception on Deebo Samuel, you better be sure. And what follows is one of the most spectacular plays of Deebo Samuel's career. Samuel scores on a 57-yard touchdown. Not the best throw by Jimmy G, but sometimes you just have to get the ball into the hands of your playmakers, and Deebo Samuel makes Taylor Rapp miss. Then he makes Haley miss. And saving the best for last, he makes Jalen Ramsey miss. Oh, how sweet it is. It's an electric touchdown by Deebo Samuel. And I have some pretty clear thoughts about what he means to this team, because Deebo Samuel in the 2020s is approaching the level of Jerry Rice in the 80s and 90s, at least in terms of what he means to this football team. In the 2-minute drive at the end of the half, the 49ers would send Fred Warner on a blitz. But it's the pass rush of Charles Omenihu who gets home to Matt Stafford. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that is Jeremiah Colon snapping the football for the Rams. Unfortunately, their backup center, Coleman Shelton, was injured earlier in the game, so the Rams are down to their third-string center. And what do you do when a backup has to come into the game and is pressed into service like that? You test them immediately. That's football 101. And folks, I gotta tell you, DeMeco Ryans knows football 101. Eric Armstead intentionally rushes to his left. He's hoping to get the center to follow him over there. And Jeremiah Colon obliges. The 49ers are going to try to attack that gap with two players. Fred Warner ends up going around, but the result is the same. The offensive line was exploited, and the 49er defense comes home with a huge sack. On the very next play, the 49ers once again have Fred Warner up at the line of scrimmage. But this time he's going to drop back. The blitz is going to come from Diamador Lenore. Did I mention DeMeco Ryans knows football? I also believe it is no coincidence that the blitz came from that side of the formation, on the side of Tyler Higbee, making it harder for him to potentially help out with any pass protection, and once again, potentially creating an opportunity for Nick Bosa. And it's back-to-back sacks on Matt Stafford in the 2-minute drill. A huge play by the defense. 2 of 7 sacks on Matt Stafford on this day, if you can believe that. Okay, let's move ahead to the third quarter. Remember in the first half when Emmanuel Mosley was facing one direction and Matt Stafford was able to throw the ball behind him to the other side? Here we see Ernest Jones is all over George Kittle, but look which way he's facing. This allows Jimmy Garoppolo to sneak this ball behind him. And folks, this is one of the best throws you're ever going to see. That is a sick pass. Folks, we don't play favorites on this channel. The film tells us what we're seeing. When Garoppolo makes a mistake, it's there for the whole world to see. But when he makes an outstanding throw like that, we've got to acknowledge that too. All right, let's move on to the next play. Facing a third down, the 49ers send Kyle Juszczyk deep, taking the safety with him. Deebo Samuel will take the space the defense left behind. But does the defense leave the space behind? The Rams recognize the play. This comes out of a lot of film study and excellent preparation by the Rams coaches. They turn Kyle Juszczyk loose because they know that this play is designed for Deebo Samuel. Now, some fans saw this and immediately realized we could have had a touchdown to Kyle Juszczyk here. Could Garoppolo have chucked this ball out to him? Yeah, he probably could have. But this ball is already on its way to Deebo. You know from the remarks I was making in the first half of this video that I'm willing to call Jimmy out when he makes a mistake. But I gotta be honest with you guys. In my heart of hearts, I feel like this was actually just good defense by the Rams here. But I want to know what you guys think. I read every comment, so leave a comment below and tell me, Was that a mistake by Jimmy or good defense by the Rams? Or maybe it was both. In any event, the Rams will go on a long drive and try to get this thing into the end zone already. But fortunately for the 49ers, Matt Stafford also made some mistakes on this night. Now here he has Higbee one-on-one. The defender's all over him, but it's not really clear where else he could go with the football. I'm okay with him taking a chance here. Like I said earlier, sometimes you just got to try to get the ball to your playmakers. Trust your big tight end to make a play. The problem is Stafford throws this ball wildly behind the receiver, and it's almost intercepted by the 49ers. If the defense starts coming up with some of these, this team could be insanely scary. Once again, the Rams are forced to settle for a field goal. Actually, I think it's fair to say they escape with a field goal here, making the score 14-9. For those of you who were brave enough to watch my video last week on the Denver Broncos game, we saw a fumble by Ray McCloud, and here we see it again. That ball is out, and at this point, this has to be a serious concern for the 49ers. I respect the hustle of McCloud, working really hard to get on a roster, first with Pittsburgh and now with San Francisco. But he had a fumbling problem with the Steelers too. And Shanahan has to know that there's a chance he could fumble again if he puts him back to field kickoffs next week. Hopefully McCloud can get that under control. Thank heavens for San Francisco, the 49ers recovered the football. Here it's the Rams' turn to take a risk, right? Maybe another risk on defense. You think about it, they took a risk when they turned Kyle Juszczyk loose on the previous possession. Maybe they didn't even know they were taking a risk there. They just reacted to a play they were prepared for. But here, they definitely take a calculated risk, faking the zone rush. In reality, Leonard Floyd is also going to drop back. This is going to be a 3-man pass rush by the Rams. This is an attempt to fool Jimmy Garoppolo and scheme an interception. The problem is the play takes way too long to develop and Garoppolo is all over it. And there he is, Kyle Juszczyk, justice served. Juice gets his big play. 35 yards on the catch and run. Let's move ahead a few plays where the 49ers are facing a 2nd down and goal. And when I saw this formation, I immediately screamed, "Spider 2, why banana?" And my wife wondered what in the heck I was talking about. But the 49ers actually ran this play in Week 9 of 2017. Let's take a look at it. Here they are, Halloween night at Arizona. Same formation, just flipped to the other side. They fake the handoff, and all 11 Cardinals bite on the fake. And there's Emmanuel Sanders lined up in the fullback position, and Garoppolo hits him for a touchdown. So here we are, same formation, and once again, all 11 Rams bite on the fake, and I thought for sure Kyle Juszczyk would be heading out to catch a pass here. Instead, the 49ers follow through with the handoff, and the Rams are able to string this play out and stop it for no gain. Maybe even a slight loss on the play. So at the start of the 4th quarter, the 49ers are going to be facing a 3rd down and goal. As Garoppolo's back foot is just starting to hit, he takes a look at his first read and he sees the defender heading one way and Brandon Ayuk heading the other way. This could have been a touchdown to Brandon Ayuk. But before that back foot even finishes hitting, Garoppolo moves off of that read to his next read to George Kittle. Now, I'm going to say that it's possible Jimmy made a mistake here because it does look like Brandon Ayuk might be going to the ground. Maybe Jimmy thought that that route was busted. In any event, he goes to Kittle, and Garoppolo actually makes a really nice throw here to George Kittle, throwing the ball away from the defenders. Now the official calls touchdown, but Kittle did not toe tap both of those feet in bounds. It's an incomplete pass. And it reminded me a lot of the play that Garoppolo threw to George Kittle in the corner of the end zone at Chicago of 2017. Let's take a look at that one. There it is, close but out of bounds on both of these plays. And with the official having a pretty clear view of that foot, makes you wonder how he missed the call. So now the 49ers are facing 4th down and goal. And here I'd like to take a minute to talk about the strategy Shanahan used, or lack of strategy that he used in this situation. Because to be frank, we've talked on this channel before about how Kyle sometimes struggles with these kinds of decisions. He elects to kick the field goal here, and to me that's a pretty clear mistake. And the reason why is because the score is 14-9. The 49ers are up by 5 points. The Rams need a touchdown. If you kick a field goal, it's still a one-score game. Yeah, they're up by 8 points now, but the Rams still need a touchdown. It doesn't really change the equation a whole lot. It means that you can't lose. The Rams could just tie you. On the other hand, if you score a touchdown here, you essentially win the game. I think the 49ers would have been better served by going for it, and the analytics support that. Going for it here increases your win probability by 3%. That's not nothing. You know, Shanahan makes these decisions that kind of drive me crazy that lower our win probability if you buy into the math. As a head coach, of course, you have to think about what could happen if you don't get it, right? In this case, your defense has been playing so good. Are you really worried that your defense isn't going to be able to hold the Rams on the 1 or 2 yard line there if you don't get the touchdown? It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's something we've discussed on this channel before. I don't want to take up too much time with it, but I've been saying for several years now, I think Kyle needs help in these situations. He needs that assistant coach. He needs that analytics guy in the booth, whatever it is, to call down to him and say, Coach, we got to punch this thing in here, or we at least got to make the attempt. If you don't get it, you're still up by 5 points. Shanahan brought in Anthony Lynn in the offseason. I was really hoping it would be that guy again. All this is stuff we've discussed before, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the results, and it's a little concerning. Now, I'm not going anywhere near the crazy talk of fire Shanahan. To me, all that was nonsense. I'm just pointing out this is an area where the 49ers can improve. Now, they do get the ball back, and once again, they see the Rams giving a receiver a lot of space, so they call the same play that they called in the first half. Get the ball quickly to the wide receiver, and send the entire offensive line downfield to block. It's a 29-yard gain for Deebo Samuel, who's had a heck of a game so far, and it puts the 49ers in field goal range. So in theory, that attempt earlier doesn't matter, right? Except Robbie Gould misses the kick. So now the Rams can go down and tie it. This is my exact fear. But don't worry, 49er fans. Talanoa Hufanga saves Kyle Shanahan from himself. He saves the 49er season. Let's take a look at the play the Rams decide to run here. Just like the Deebo Samuel touchdown play, the Rams are going to send a receiver, Tyler Higbee, deep, and Cooper Kupp will try to use that as a pick and cut him behind him. But Talanoa Hufanga is so special. He instantly diagnoses the play. He's got such great instincts, and watch how quickly he reacts. How did the 49ers get so lucky with him falling all the way to the 5th round? Well, the knock on Hufanga was his speed. And in fact, after the game, he said he was worried Matt Stafford was going to catch him here. But Hufanga has been blessed with football talent and natural instincts. He knows where that ball is going to be. don't worry, you're not going to get caught on this play. You're not going to get caught on many plays. This is a special football player for the 49ers, and the comparisons to other top safeties throughout history are getting really hard to ignore. It's a game-winning touchdown for the 49ers. Gold knocks through the extra point, 24-9, and this game is out of reach for the Rams. I'm going to show you one last play. Technically, the Rams could still have a chance if they score and get an onside kick and score again. So you still got to put out your full effort here, and that's what this play is, an effort play. The coverage is good on the back end, but this is all about the effort of Samson Ebukam fighting through that pass rush, even getting by the chip of the running back, and causing the fumble of Matt Stafford. How do we know it's a fumble? You see the ball in the air, but what you want to look for is the empty hand. You see that empty hand going forward, you can be 99% sure it's a fumble. Kerry Hyder recovers, and the 49ers win the game. A tremendous defensive effort. It started with Samson Ebukam with that first sack, and here he ends the game with the sack, fumble, and Kerry Hyder Jr. with the recovery. Well, there you have it. The 49ers crushed the defending Super Bowl champions on Monday Night Football. What more could you want? The defense was outstanding, and they've really turned that corner. When you start scoring on defense, that's when you can be maybe talked about as elite, right? 7 sacks in the game, 2 forced turnovers, the pick 6 by Hufanga, who's just been money for the 49ers ever since that big playoff game in Green Bay last year in the snow when he scored that touchdown, right? This team is special on defense. On offense, they've got to put it together. They're getting closer, right? Against the Seahawks, they had a decent game. That's against Seattle, right? Denver, with their defense, made it a lot tougher for the 49ers, but they tried to right the ship, and I think they got it going. It's not all the way fixed yet, right? They haven't quite put it all together. They're just waiting to put it all together. Totally gel on offense. But we saw some really good signs this week, right? Against a strong team, the LA Rams. The offensive line played much better. 7 sacks for the 49ers, 0 for Aaron Donald and the LA Rams, right? Spencer Burford played much better this week. Daniel Brunskill helped him. That's excellent teamwork. Extremely pleased to hear that. Did it seem like Trent Williams was missing this entire game? You wouldn't even know it. The offensive line played much better. Jimmy Garoppolo played much better. He wasn't perfect. He did miss some throws. We took a look at the overthrow to Juwan Jennings, and there were a few more that could have gone either way. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't. That's where I want to hear from you in the comments. Help me understand what I'm seeing, just like the film helps us all understand. But nevertheless, he is going to be the quarterback moving forward, and I thought he played pretty good. If he can play like that every week, no interceptions or turnovers for Jimmy Garoppolo, this defense will take us far. That's going to be the key for him. Move the chains on third downs, make plays when they're available, take what the defense gives you, and be careful with the football. And the 49ers are going to be just fine. Special teams, still we're looking at B- territory here. Not here to dog anybody, right? But we did miss the field goal at the end. And the second fumble in 2 weeks for Ray McCloud on a kickoff return is concerning. Fortunately, the 49ers recovered both of those, but that could be a disaster in games coming up, right? Where else can we improve? Kyle Shanahan, this one was close. It was maybe a little bit closer than I was making it out to be. I do think that there's really no difference in going up 8 or going up 5, right? The other team still needs a touchdown either way. I get that if it's 8, they can only tie you, they can't beat you. I understand that. I just think with the situation the way it was, and with the analytics bearing it out, Kyle made a mistake. Maybe not a big one. But it would be nice to see him, again, just get some help in those situations. Okay, I'm not going to go on and on about that. We're just talking about how the team can improve. We know Jimmy can improve. We know the head coach can improve. And really, we're probably making a mountain out of a molehill, right? I mean, they played pretty good. They totally dominated LA from start to finish. Richard Sherman trolling after the game, challenging people to compare Matt Stafford's numbers this year with Jared Goff's. Gotta love Richard Sherman, right? So where do the 49ers go from here? You knew I was going to ask that question. Well, they've got a tough challenge ahead of them. I know what you're thinking. Carolina is one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and you're right. Baker Mayfield, you want to talk about not quite gelling yet. That Panthers offense hasn't done that, but you better believe they're going to be highly motivated to take on one of the top teams in the NFC, one of the top defenses in the NFC. Hopefully that defense will be licking their chops and feasting on Baker Mayfield come Sunday. But the 49ers have to travel all the way across the country for a 10 o'clock game on a short week. My least favorite thing, right? I call it a death sentence in the NFL when you have to go on the road on a short week and all the way from coast to coast, no less. Make no mistake about it. This will be a challenge for the 49ers. Remember, the Panthers still have Christian McCaffrey. It's not like they have nothing over there. Niners need to show up. They need to punch in for work on their business trip, right? And play ball. They do that, they should be fine. And the team will be above 500. First place in the NFC West. And really, the NFC isn't the strongest conference this year, right? We're still looking at Philly, 4-0, undefeated. They're doing amazing things over there. They've got to be considered the team to beat now in the NFC. Tampa Bay, they're struggling, right? Tom Brady going through his personal issues. None of our business, but we wish him the best. And Green Bay, not putting up a lot of points, but I really respect the way they're kind of, surviving these battles against teams. The Packers seem mentally tough this year. They're playing physical. They seem to have an edge about them that maybe they didn't have last year. That could be a dangerous team in the playoffs. 49ers need to string together some wins and get some games at home in the playoffs where it's really going to be important. Folks, if you're new to this channel, this is what we do every single week. We take a look at the film. We see what everybody sees on the field, right? It's so fun and entertaining and educational. And if you like it, hit that subscribe button. I want to thank all my subscribers. Again, leave me a comment. I read every comment. And of course, I really want to take a minute here to extend some extra special thanks to the people who have been helping to support this channel. You guys have humbled me and honored me with your generosity, and I sincerely thank you. And folks, I worked really hard to get this video to you quickly after a Monday night game. That's one fewer days that I have to work on it. It's hard, right? It took a long time to make this video. If you could just give me 10 seconds and hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. All right, Sunday morning, 10 a.m., it's Niners at the Panthers. And we are going to be here to break down this film after that game, and I will see you guys then.